CEO of Bukit Vista, and let's begin. Okay, so we'll advance to the next slide. Okay, Shailen, could we advance to the next slide? Okay, so thank you very much. And first, a little bit about what we do here at BVE Talk. The purpose of having this discussion this evening is very simple. We want to delight. We want to invite industry experts to speak about really interesting topics, and they are all from leading companies. And we are going to conduct a live Q&A. So we'll be sharing a code on the chat immediately after, so that the audience here, all 106 of you, can participate in asking questions and bringing up topics that you would like to talk about. So this is at the link up here. It's slide.do, and the tag is BV-eTalk7. All right, so my job as a moderator for everyone tonight is to get into like the core of what our expert panels really know and understand, and stir up debate and passionate discussion. So we have a little special feature here at BVE Talk, which is what we call a post-discussion huddle. So just like real events, afterwards, nobody just sort of evaporates into the air. I myself will stay in the room. So if any members of the audience want to join me and a few of the speakers to just kind of have a casual, intimate chit chat afterwards, we invite you to the post-event huddle. Okay, on to the next slide. And the second purpose of our event this evening is to inspire. We want to inspire young talent to innovate using technical skills to solve real-world problems. And we're thinking that by inviting experts to share their most authentic moments with the next generation, we can help inspire the people who are participating in this e-talk. And we want also to seek interns to join here at Bukit Vista, join NTU, a preeminent university here in Singapore, also CfDS at UGM, and also SIMS at IONS. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so for the format of this evening, I simply would like to introduce first our hosts and our co-hosts who are participating in BVE Talk 7. After that, I'll introduce myself as a moderator and our speakers. And then for the bulk of this evening, we will be participating in a moderated discussion. So I will be asking our distinguished panelists questions and topics that are very fascinating from the world of online marketing. Afterwards, we will close the talk. We'll put out a survey so that you can give us feedback about how we did this evening, and also feedback for the speakers, which is very welcome. And after, we will go into a post-event huddle where the audience can also participate and have more discussions with the speakers and myself. Okay, on to the next slide. Okay, so just to introduce myself first, my name is Jing. As I said before, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bukit Vista. I studied a long time ago in 2002 at UC Berkeley in electrical engineering and computer science. Previously, I worked at Airbnb to bring Airbnb to Indonesia. And before that, I was working for a luxury resort chain called Aman Resorts. And as my little fun fact, I happened to be in a Bollywood movie years ago, and I danced with Hrithik Roshan and Aishwarya Rai. Okay, on to the next slide. And a little bit more about what Bukit Vista is. Our mission is to inspire delight through hospitality innovations that positively transform our guests, partners, and employees. And as part of that, next slide, we offer hospitality accommodations all over Bali. So if you can see here on the slide, there are some beautiful beachfront properties. We represent tree houses, homes here in Ubud, and other plethora of exciting, unique accommodations and exciting destinations. Okay, on to the next slide. And a little bit more about what Bukit Vista is. Our mission is to inspire delight through hospitality innovations that positively transform our guests, partners, and employees. And as part of that, next slide, we offer hospitality accommodations all over Bali. So if you can see here on the slide, there are some beautiful beachfront properties. We represent tree houses, homes here in Ubud, and other plethora of exciting, unique accommodations and exciting destinations. Okay, on to the next slide. Okay, we're proud to state our collaboration with NTU, the Center for Digital Science and IONS this evening. And this is where I will turn the floor now to some of our other speakers. So if we can go to the next slide. I'd like to bring Mr. Desmond to speak at this moment, who represents NTU. And we'll have Mr. Desmond talk a little bit about Nanyang Technological University from Singapore.
Thank you, Jane. Hello, I'm Desmond. I'm from the Career and Attachment Office of Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. Very glad to be invited as a co-host in this event. Like many of you here, I'm here as well to learn from our speakers over here about digital marketing. And just would like to share some messages to the young people here that's attending the talk. Okay, we know that there's always before the pandemic, there's always a lot of talks about the future of work and all this AI automations. So right now with the pandemics, we know that the changes are faster than what we expected. There are many things that we do not foresee. So it teaches us, okay, especially young people like you, to be more resilient and to be more adaptable. So I urge that maybe for young people like you to explore, okay, more, okay, like attending workshop like this, okay, to pick up new information, okay, move out of your comfort zone, okay, and always be in touch with what's going on, and that will definitely help you. So I would prefer to not speak so much about NTU, you know, okay. So I like to bring across this message to NTU students, okay, particularly, as well as all the young people here. So I hope you all have a fruitful evening. So I shall not waste so much time on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Desmond. And on to the next slide, we'll have our representatives from SIM ION speak a little bit about the Singapore Institute of Management and their Innovation and Networking Society.
Right. Hi. A very good evening to everyone. I'm Nazrin. I'm currently the head of partnerships at the Innovation and Networking Society at IONS in the Singapore Institute of Management. So, or otherwise known as SIM. So it's actually a tertiary institute here in Singapore for those of you who are not in Singapore right now. So basically, what IONS does is to we hope to cultivate innovation capabilities among aspiring young change makers with the use of technological tools. So that was the goal essentially when we started out. So what we have done so far is organize workshops and events to engage with the student community. So I'll probably get Ashton to explain more about our activities that we have done so far.
Okay, over to Ashton.
Hello, I'm Ashton, in charge of marketing for IONS. So at IONS, we have actually two big activities that we would like to share. The first one is our Project Alter. Project Alter is a 4-month structured program, especially for our IONS ambassadors, where they will use technologies to solve real-world issues and come up with either digital or physical prototypes. So these 4 months will host workshops so that they are equipped with the right business and tech skills for the project itself, but also to have an edge when they go for their careers. So the second interesting category is our fireside chats, where we organize panel discussions revolving around technology topics, talking about latest trends or innovations. So this is to provide a platform to open up discussions and also to allow networking. So thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. The representative Nazrin and Ashton coming from SIM. Next, I'm going to take over the screen real quick. So we're going to go over to CfDS and over for their update. Okay, over to you guys.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Dia. I'm the Executive Secretary at Center for Digital Society, or CfDS, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Very excited to co-host this event with Bukit Vista and TU and also Sims Ions. I'll share a very brief introduction about our center. So CfDS is a research organization which focuses on the social, political, and economic impacts of technology advancement in our society. And as for 2020, CfDS is focusing on digital-related policy recommendation and how to be safe in digital world. Our research ranging from the issue of cyberbullying, social media campaign during the election, data governance, and internet users' digital competencies. We also actively publish popular articles which discuss and aim to respond the current digital trend. So if you are interested in reading our research and publication, please access and download it from our website at cfds.visipol.ugm.ac.id. And in addition, CfDS also believes that research should be widely disseminated. That is why here in CfDS, we have a team which is in charge for our event, programs, and social media. And at the moment, we have 3 regular online events, namely digital discussion on WhatsApp, discussion forum to disseminate our research, which we call Diffusion, and also Digitalk, where we collaborated and invite prominent names in digital industry to give their talk and insights about the latest trend in digital world. Again, if you're interested in finding more about our event or joining one, please do follow our social media channel. We are available on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Line. That's all. Thank you, Jing.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Dia, for the update on the Center for CfDS. Okay, Center for Digital Society. Just double check there. Okay, next, let me introduce the speakers who will be at our BDE talk this evening. So we'll go first with Samantha. Samantha, please tell us about your background, please.
Hi everyone. My name is Samantha. So I started my career in Unilever and I was there for close to 6 years, doing brand management and marketing. And it was my first job, out of school as a management trainee. And I was lucky enough to have the experience of living and working in Vietnam and the Philippines, because I was always doing a regional Southeast Asia role. And then I, like in end of 2018, in the middle of 2018, I decided to join Ofo, the bike sharing company. I think everyone knew what happened to it. And I was only there for 3 months, but it was I just wanted to, have a change and try to be bolder in my career decisions, and just wanted to see the insights of what the rage was, bike sharing. And then I had a 2-month break in between and saw that Facebook was hiring, and I decided it was time to switch industries completely and to apply myself. And so I applied to Facebook, and I do B2B marketing at Facebook for large and small businesses. And my role currently is Global SMB Marketing Manager. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Thank you for joining us this evening, Samantha. Beautiful. And next, let's go over to Ferdi, who is joining us from Gojek, I believe.
Hello everyone. So my name is Ferdi. I'm the head of digital marketing, growth and intelligence for Go Merchants or B2BN. So prior to Gojek, I was in Mocha, and then after 2.5 years, we were acquired by Gojek, and we decided to we need to enlarge the team, because back then there were no marketing team for Go Merchants itself. So we scaled it up, and then I think the passion for me in digital marketing was coming from back then when I was in agency, when I kind of hate the way the traditional media operates. I think it's very boring and then not too modern. So I do the radical shift. I try to handle a big airline brands back there. Then I move up, and then afterwards I move to Grab, and afterward to Mocha, and right now I'm in Gojek right now. So my day-to-day work involves around all the digital marketing stuff, also intelligence, meaning the research and analysis, and also some of the competitor benchmarking. And at the same time, I'm also focusing on how do we actually empower our micro businesses, which is actually the core business of what makes Gojek what it is right now. So welcome to the workshop.
Okay, thank you very much, Ferdi, coming up from Gojek. Next, over to Bernando, also known as Nando, who's coming up from Danone.
Hi everyone. You just can call me Nando. Right now I'm handling brand and digital management for Danone Indonesia. The produce infant formula milk for Indonesian's market. I think it's quite similar with Samantha. I started my career back then with Unilever Indonesia. I'm doing both local brand management role as well as regional brand development role in Southeast Asia. I was stationed in Singapore for around 2 years back there. After Unilever, I moved to quite some local company as well as multinational company, but the core has always been consumer goods for me. And fun facts about me. I'm not sure if it is fun at all, but I've literally consumed every infant formula milk in Indonesia market for the last 2 years now. So yeah, I kind of familiar with the taste of infant formula milk.
Okay, all right. I guess that might be part of the safety testing.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Nando, for joining us from Danone. Okay. Next is Bonnie. Bonnie is joining us from rolali.com. So over to you, Bonnie.
Hello everyone. My name is Boni. So I'm currently leading the strategy and campaign teams in Rally.com. It's a B2B marketplace company in Indonesia. So before I was starting my first career in Astra International as a management trainee. So I was mainly handling the retail marketing segment for their financial product, which is Astra Insurance. So after that, I was assigned to Hong Kong for another 6 months for working with their parent company, which is Jardine Matheson. I was I was mostly handling the trade marketing activities with their trade marketing team for dairy farm in Hong Kong. So after I moved back to Jakarta, I moved to Danone. So it's just before Nando joined Danone, I guess. So I was there in Danone Jakarta. So another fun fact is that I also have tested almost all baby milk before when I was working in Danone, and it's a similar basically. So I was handling e-commerce before in Danone. I was e-commerce manager in Danone for around 2 years. So after that, I moved to Kuala Lumpur for iPrice Group. It's a comparison website. It's an aggregator for e-commerce in Southeast Asia. I was head of campaigns and also on-site marketing in iPrice. And after that, I was working for Jirnexu. The product is ringgitpas.com in Malaysia. It's also one of the leading market of financial technology company in Malaysia. So I was there for 2 years, more than 2 years, handling as a head of campaigns. And finally, I moved to Jakarta around 3 months ago and started to work in Ralali.com as B2B marketplace company. The role is strategic campaign lead. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Bonnie, for the excellent introduction. Okay. Let me go ahead and go to Dwi. Dwi is our last speaker, and Dwi comes to us from Faberhost. Over to you, Dwi.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Dwi Nanja. You can call me Dwi, and I come from, I work on Faberhost. Faberhost is a digital marketing agency. So we help every small medium enterprises and then to multinational companies to maintain their social media presence or build their own websites or maybe optimize their ads on Google and optimize their on Facebook. So my role on there is as a digital marketing specialist, and as a digital marketing, I handle social media things, Google Ads things, and Facebook ads. But the fun fact is I'm not come from like to talk people. On the beginning of 2016, I actually cannot talk to the people. So I'm basically you can say that I'm an introvert person. But in past, and then I come to the Jakarta and it's changed. Everything's changed. Okay, but.
Thank you much, Mr. Dwi, for telling us a little bit about the changes. And we're running a little bit behind right now, so I'm going to have to move up the schedule a little bit. Please, if you're part of the audience, you can go to slide.do and come into the BBE Talk discussion. We have a few topics that people have posted already, so please, if you have anything that you'd like to ask the speakers, post there. If you have some ideas that you'd like to upvote, please upvote there as well. We're going to jump into our first topic, and our first topic is sponsored by Bukit Vista. And it's just a very fun way to kind of connect this world of digital marketing, of brand marketing, to something that we can all probably appreciate and know. So the question is, you're opening a coffee shop and you want to get 1,000 regular customers. How would you actually do it? So I'm going to drop this question on Samantha first. And Samantha, within like a few minutes, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, tell us how would you take your approach and the knowledge that you've gained from marketing to accomplish this particular task.
Yeah, so of course I'll say do Facebook advertising. I mean, no, but seriously, I think that is a very quick way to get customers, and there's a very low cost and efficient way of getting customers, right? Digital marketing. But first and foremost, I think you need to determine your campaign objective based on your business goal. So decide if it's a brand or a direct response. And this depends on where you are in your journey, right? So if we're just opening a coffee shop, it will be awareness and discovery. And I will use brand objective like reach or brand awareness. But I will also consider using intent, intent to purchase. So I would drive people to my store, my web store, if I have an online store, or any foot traffic into the store, which Facebook can do for you as well. I think secondly, apart from advertising, of course, think about your communication channels. So of course there's social media, but there's also, your website, if you do have one, email, those I think content needs to be designed for the channel. So when it comes to social media especially, think about mobile first creative. So what we call thumb stopping creatives in the correct native format. So for example, vertical for stories, etc. And of course you need your fundamentals right, like looking at the video length and the messaging is very important. Getting your main message across in 3 seconds and creating videos that are 15 seconds or less. All of that comes into play when you want to capture the attention of people with your content. And I think your call to action has to be very clear. And I think everything that you put out, especially as a small business, is very important, because you want to reach out to customers and you want to get to know them for the first time, right? So having a very strong call to action is very important. And of course, as a small business, I would recommend anything on ground and quick, right? Like, so think cross-selling, think of upselling, think of collaborating with partners like food partners, people who can maybe there are like like bakers that you can collaborate with, right? Or and also of course social media influencer strategy. I think is actually influencers are very important, are quite important and quite essential for a small business, especially micro influencers. I think don't underestimate the power of micro influencers, and I think this could be really useful for a small business. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. That's an excellent, very elaborate answer. Let me go over to Ferdi. Ferdi, coming from your perspective, what do you agree with Samantha? What would you like to expand, and what is something maybe you would do differently?
The thing that I'm agree with probably Facebook, because that's gonna be the cheapest and the easiest that you can set up right away from your smartphone. So we had a talk I think probably years ago, but with some coffee shop owners, and the same question actually popped up back then. And then the way I think he answered is that if you're opening a coffee shop and you want to get your 10,000 regular customer, meaning that you have to allocate first from all of your surroundings, meaning your neighborhood, your circle, and your friends, like who are the people that can be your promoters. So when you want to get this 1,000, right? And again, we don't know like what's the cost per acquisition or the cost of marketing that you can allocate for this, and that would be something that we want to decide in the beginning. So if you have, let's say, like almost like close to zero or probably a very little budget for this, then back then the agreed answer would be that it's approach your circle and who are among those users they can be your promoters. And then after you get all of these promoters, you want to collect their testimonials, you want to collect all of their honest review of your products, and you want to make it as a part of the improvement for your product. And at the same time, you want to use it as your ads or materials. So you want to post that in your social media. You want to boost it in your Instagram campaigns and all that so on. And then you can, after that, you can probably reach out the 1,000 customers. But prior to that would be, I think the issue right now with I think most SMEs in Indonesia is that when they want to reach the 1,000 regular customers, they need to understand like what is the ideal cost that I spend. And back then the solution was quite simple. So imagine if you get, let's say, 100 followers per day, or let's say you spend a specific amount of budget, and then the actual customers would be, let's say, X person or X people. Then you want to spend that particular chunk of your profit into your digital marketing or into your marketing budget. So that's going to be very simple. So you just have to juggle between, like, say, how much you get from your own weekly profit or weekly revenue, and you allocate it to your some of that to your marketing campaigns.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Ferdi. Let's go next to Nando. Nando, you also come from a brand marketing background similar to Samantha. Would you do anything differently, or has everything been said already?
Yeah, I'll probably agree that Facebook will become the channel to use, but I will not recommend it to become your first step. So the first step should be defining who your target audience is. So that's the most important thing, because then you need to be able to define their habits, their preference, or even the dollar that they are willing to spend to buy your coffee, because that's important to give you a guidance in terms of strategy and actions, what kind of creative that you will develop and what kind of call to actions you want to develop. So after you know who your audience is, you will be able to find where your audience concentrates. If it is coffee, I'm sure that everyone drinks coffee in daily basis. So the question is, how and where do they wanna, if they want to find a new coffee, a trend of new coffee, what will be their digital behavior? They might search in Facebook, might be, might not be. They might go to Instagram. Most probably, that will be the channel that they will use. They might also go to the search engine, could be, but less likely. So you have to really able to identify where your audience concentrates in digital ecosystem. And with that in mind, you'll be able to present at the most relevant channel when they search for coffee.
That's right.
And to add Samantha and Ferdi, I think call to action is the most important thing that you need to deploy. But because this is something that you set up in the beginning, then you might be able to you might want to consider as well in generating the leads or the data of the people who engage with your digital advertisement, be it in Facebook, search engine, or even in social media. The reason is because this is the most powerful currency for you to be able to do remarketing, to be able to offer directly promotion or incentive so that they can come to your store, or even to collect their data so that you can do a follow-up sales, loyalty program, things like that. So that's basically how you get your regular shop.
Got it. Okay, and that's a perfect transition over to Bonnie. Bonnie, I remember that on your LinkedIn, it even says you're into data-driven marketing. How would you add to this conversation at this point? Anything that anybody's left out, or anything that is one of your, that you might agree or disagree with?
So, okay, in the case of, building or setting up a new coffee shop for getting 1,000 customers, right? So I remember around 6 months ago, I was helping one of my friends who just started a coffee shop business. So we try to identify like how we actually can penetrate the customers. And turns out is that based on what we did before 6 months ago, that the location itself is matters. So when we talk about digital marketing, I don't think it's quite significantly effective for a business of coffee shop that just started as a single coffee shop, unless you have like so many branches or franchise branches of your coffee shop in so many area, then you can go or take digital marketing as one of strategy. But when it comes to the first stage of building a coffee shop store or company, a single store, so what we had before is that turns out normally your customer would be those people who live surround your store itself. So like they don't go far just to have a coffee. That's the fact. Even when you go to register your business into like like ride hailing company like GrabFood or GoFood by Gojek, even they never buy those coffee like more than 15 kilometers from their home. So it's really matters to actually, I agree with Nando before, it's really matter to actually how to you can advertise from mouth to mouth to your friends, to your nearest neighborhoods and etc, so they can actually revert and tell people like, okay, you have a store, here is the location, because those people who live around your store is the first target that you need to tap in before you go outside wider segment by driving in digital marketing. That's my point of view.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's go over to Dwi. Dwi, any thoughts that you'd like to add at this point?
Yeah, I definitely agree to all of the first decision, first opinion, but I want to add some. The first, yeah, as I agree to we need to decide our targeting, which people we should, which people that like our coffee, that which people we that will interested with our brands. But first, we need to gain the brand awareness first. I am definitely not recommend for using ads in the first place, because I think people not people still hesitate for our brands. So we need to provide a reason for the people why they should drink at our coffee shop. It's the first thing that we should accomplish. Okay, and then we can, yeah, after that we can gather followers. After they gain new trust, they can yeah, we can use some ads, and we can use some ads to influence them and come to our coffee shop. But we should pay attention for local targeting, because coffee shop is local. Right? People I don't think that people come from outside the town will be come to our place unless they are on vacation. So we need to focus on the local targeting, like about 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers from our coffee shop. And then maybe we need to consider about the QL management, like inviting some important people that can drive influence to their followers, so they can promote our business, and then people can come across to our shop and be our regular customers. And then, yeah, we need to maintain our presence. Lastly but not least, we need to maintain our presence on social media. We need to maintain our presence on every channel that we use to do marketing things.
Fantastic. Looks like we have a very diverse set of answers, and it seems like the one thing that is in common is really understanding the customer and understanding what it is that the customer is, so that we can specifically address them correctly. I think that's actually one of the biggest wisdoms that I've taken away from talking to many digital marketers. It's not the tool, it's not like necessarily the budget, but it's really understanding who is the person we're trying to target. Okay, happy coffee drinkers all around. Let's go on to our next topic. I'm going to skip the next topic by Bukit Vista because we are a little bit compressed on time. So as a hospitality company, I will let some of our co-hosts bring up a topic. This is from NTU. So this topic is a bit more broad. And how does a student become a professional in digital marketing? And what are the skills that they would need? We're having a very good banter just before the e-talk started. I'll go over to Nando. Nando, maybe you can tell the audience about like your journey and how you became involved in this particular profession and role.
I always believe that doing is the best method for you to learn something new. So, whenever there is an opportunity to step up a digital capabilities in any organizations I worked with before, I will become the first one who will raise my hands and sign up for that challenge, a new opportunity. So that's the number one method that I always employ whenever I wanna grasp a new kind of capability. And then number two is whoever wants to do this digital marketing as their career need to decide where they want to go first, because digital marketing has a very broad capabilities and also areas, right? They have digital marketing strategy, they have someone who focus on creating content, someone who focus on search, paid media, and also social media. Even data analytics in itself is something that is definitely one area and one big scope of digital marketing. So you have to define the first area that you want to learn first. But my recommendation is, after you excel, after you get enough exposure in that one particular area, you need to expand and you need to go to the next journey, because digital marketing is a seamless journey from awareness, consideration, and conversions, and also data analytics. So you have to master everything. You have to do it by yourself. And lastly is mindset. Because people in digital marketing need to have experimental mindset. This is something that is new to everyone. So doing A/B testing is something that is highly encouraged. It's okay for you to fail, but whenever you want to start something, start small but be ready to scale it fast. That's basically the mindset of digital marketing that personally I employ in day-to-day life.
Excellent, Nando. Okay, I'm going to toss this over to Samantha, who comes from brand marketing, but also had a similar some similar companies that she worked at as Nando. Samantha, what's your take on this? How does someone become involved in marketing and good at it?
Yeah, I don't even know if I'll consider myself a digital marketer per se, right? Because I am doing B2B marketing in a tech company, in a digital company, but that doesn't mean I'm a digital marketer. But I definitely, think that one of the ways to get into it is to like what Nando said, I agree, which is to practice, and the best way to do is while learning, while doing, as in the best way to learn is while doing, sorry. So for example, in the coffee shop example, you can already experiment, right, with your own small business, with your friend's small business. You can use Facebook on your own to figure out, how to produce good creatives, or how to create ads, how to target customers, etc. That is a real life case example that you can already practice and gain the skills. And then of course there's a lot of theoretical courses that you can sign up online. Some are free and some are paid, but there are a whole lot. And Facebook also has this thing called Facebook Blueprint, that certifies you if you want to become official, if you want an official certification in it.
Awesome. Okay, very cool. Let's go next to Dwi. Dwi, you come from agency background. You're doing a lot of these. What would your take on it? If you want to work at an agency and do campaigns on behalf of, let's say, clients, well, what are some of the skill sets you need, and how do you get involved in this industry in the first place?
Okay, the first and the most important is learn, of course. I agree with Samantha and I agree with Nando too, because by the learning we can know how the digital marketing works in the first place, and then you need to and then when that we should understand that major is not mandatory, because we already seen that many people that have no marketing correlated can be a digital marketer, can be a professional digital marketer. So the major is not that important. And then next, we need to decide why we interested in the digital marketing, because sometimes people can be misconcepting about digital marketing, like digital marketing is only uploading content on social media or replying comments or replying DMs on Instagram. No, it's not work like that. So we need to understand what is digital marketing first and find what the reason why we interest in the digital marketing. And next, of course, we can participate on the online course, like free course or paid course. It's whatever you can take. And you can find Facebook Blueprint is one of the famous course that provide perfect insight for Facebook ads. And then you can participate on Google or Google Analytics Academy or Google Ads AdWords Skill Shop, or maybe HubSpot. They provide very, very insightful course. And I personally have participate on those courses, except the Facebook Blueprint certification, because certification on Facebook Blueprint need to be paid. We need to pay for the certificate on Facebook Blueprint. So I still not participate in that. And then, yeah, of course, we don't be hesitate for experimenting on every platform that you're interested, like YouTube or maybe Instagram, maybe Facebook, or maybe TikTok, LinkedIn, everything that you have some kind of interest or you have fun into that.
Okay. Let's go to Ferdi. Ferdi, anything else to say at this point, or has everyone kind of touched upon most of the major points?
Yeah, probably let's take a different route to this. So I have like these three criteria of people that I rejected for any digital marketing position that I'm.
Good.
Yeah, I'm telling all of you. The first thing first, if I ask him, if I ask him or her to create a campaign, he or she always tell me that, okay, I think the campaign would be look like this. It has to own a very good creative. I definitely cut it. I don't want anyone to tell me that, okay, you need to have a good creative. It always have to good creative. It's a standard. It's a standard in society that you have to fulfill. But the way you put the real targeting and the real logic behind why do you put this campaign structure is the key thing that spread you from any other marketing people. Second would be if I'm asking him or her, I show him usually a list of Excel sheet that is containing all of the digital marketing performance that I had for some of my campaigns. And I ask him or her, hey, what do you think would be the action plan for this? And if he says like, okay, I don't know what to do, or even say, okay, I think I need to spend more budget on this, but that doesn't provide me any rationale, then I'll cut it off. Like I cut people like from my shortest interview or any candidate were like 12 minutes because I don't think that that's a very good, and I think it's wasting my time, and I just tell him straightforward, okay, I don't want to proceed with you. So yeah, as a digital marketer, I hire a lot of fresh grad. I think I even hired somebody who is below 20 years old, and I hire a lot of people that doesn't have any digital marketing background. But the core logic behind that is that the way they put their ratio and the way they win the argument against me and defend their way of thinking is something that is very precious. So it applies to all fields beside digital marketing also. So in optimizing your campaigns, meaning that you know where to put your budget first, and second, you know what is where your audience at. If you're selling, let's say clothes, you know that the audience would be okay, somewhat middle to lower, and then you want to target these people who have this interest, and then you want to divide it into specific bucket of audience. And the third would be, I'm asking him. Usually, I have this a lot of questions regarding how do you actually do the optimization, and also what is your base case practice back then. And if this person cannot tell me any of his or her best case practice or worst case practice, I'll cut it off because they're just doing BAUs. I don't know. I don't want to hire anyone who's doing a business as usual. I want anyone to give me something that is innovative and memorable every couple of weeks or a couple of months. So that's going to be the criteria. So if any of you who have this and you happen to meet me in any of the you will face my kind of rap. Yeah.
All right.
But definitely this is a normal standard. It's a regular standard. But I believe someone else, I think, have a higher standard. But yeah, I'll just try this standard for fresh grad definitely.
I like that. I like Ferdi's answer because it's very transparent. He's not sugarcoating it. All right. Well, Bonnie, anything else at this point to add? Has it all been said?
Yeah. My point is, I always relate digital marketing to the core itself, which is marketing. So I always have questions to those people who apply to one of the job vacancy that I open in my team, whether what is your understanding about marketing? Because for me, digital marketing again is just a marketing. So it's just a marketing in a different way. We have traditional marketing and there is digital marketing. So doing marketing in digital way through digital technology, this kind of stuff. So, but the main core is your interest. So like, do you like to market something? Do you like to sell something? Do you like to promote something? So that is the core of digital marketing. So the concept is similar to marketing. It's just how we do it in different way by advancing the technology that we have, the channel that we have. That is Facebook, that is social media, and this kind of stuff. So that's, I think that is the core. Whenever someone who would like to start a career in digital marketing, they have to ask themselves whether they like marketing or not, whether they understand the concept of marketing or not, because digital marketing is just doing a marketing in different way, and it can be learned. So it can be learned. It doesn't need, like, you have to come from a background of computer engineering or another technology stuff. It's not required at all.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Wow, that sounds like a really diverse set of answers. So what I'm getting from it is the passion for marketing is fundamental. Understanding the experimental mindset is fundamental. And being able to justify at the end of the day spending company money to get results, those are fundamental. And digital marketing fundamentally isn't different from marketing itself. It's just applying marketing tactics onto a new sort of setting, a new channel. All right, fantastic. This is great. I'm probably going to limit the scope of some of the responses from the speakers because we have a super panel today. We have 5 speakers. So we want to get through 2 more topics. And I'm just going to go right over to Bonnie again, right? Bonnie, your thoughts. What are the new trends in digital marketing strategy during the pandemic era?
Well, so something that I see during the pandemic era is that it's a momentum actually for a digital marketer. Why? Because people started to focus on digital. So many people, they actually stay at home, so they have a lot of times, even more compared to the previous days when they need to go to work. So now they can spend a lot of time, browsing online, play with the mobile phone, and etc. And also the growth of the internet industry. I mean, the penetration in all over the world, in all over the area, even in Indonesia. So I think in terms of what's changing in digital marketing industry during this pandemic is that the opportunity is even wider. So the area of digital marketing is actually even open wider. So people can actually browse more. So again, one of the area of digital marketing that Nando mentioned before, like SEO. So it's even growing more and more during this pandemic skill, because people search more and more. So those people with expertise in SEO is really highly demanded in the market. And also because people now they start to shop everything online. So the way people to actually trade off their things, to open their market in the social media is also wider. The concept of social commerce is actually emerged. So now even Instagram, Facebook, they can do shoppable posts. They can directly sell things through their posts in social media. And another thing is that I think the trend of content marketing, because the time of people spend in social media and in internet now is even higher because of this pandemic, the change of the lifestyle. So those people who before don't have enough time to browse, to read the article, blogs, and etc. Now they have more times to actually read those things. So the idea of content marketing as a part of digital marketing is also growing bigger in this pandemic era. That's my point.
Excellent. Okay, let's go with Ferdi. You might have a unique perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Samantha can validate this, but what I'm seeing right now, I think the trend is that because the SME's growth is actually back then when we started everything in the pandemic, it's like quite slow. But I think people are starting to adapting the new way of selling things as a social sellers. So that there's a new wave of social seller. I mean, people are starting to. I think I need, because I'm staying at home, I need to do something else, and then I just cannot bother with working at office at all. So I think I'm started to sell a thing. So we see that there's a lot of huge volume for a demand for social seller right now, and those people they don't. I mean, the basket size. I mean, the way they want to spend their marketing cost is not that large, but the number is like super sporadic. So I think new trend from my perspective as a B2B marketer right now is that the trend would be, if you can check in your social media or in Google or anything, in YouTube or anything else, you see that there's a lot of food advertisement going on. And I think the reason behind that, because I think the social sellers, I mean, people who are moving toward digital marketing during this pandemic thing is actually quite huge, because they cannot start putting ads on their billboard anymore, like, because nobody is going out back then when we start everything this. So the new trend would be that, because there's a lot of people that are fighting in the F&B industry, the cost to acquire new customers as somebody who's working in a F&B business will be quite high, because you're competing with a lot of new brands, right? And then you know that if there's a lot of brand competing for the same type of people, then the cost to acquire the customer will be higher. So I think this brings me with some of the talk that me and Jing have before. I think it start looking for a new pool of digital marketing channels, meaning that outsourcing to TikTok or looking for affiliate links or something like that. So actually, these are the criteria these are the things that I'm expecting for people that I can onboard to my team. So the way to actually see those lists of social media campaigns beyond the advertising ones, meaning that all the possibilities, let's say that do a content partnership with some small scale media, or do let's say a link building or SEO campaign with a relatively like small website. So those are the things that we are actually growing right now, and those are actually the key pivotal thing that will help you to survive during this kind of new trend to survive during this pandemic situation, because you have to look to a larger scope of channel, right? You cannot splurge all of the budget in one bucket.
That's a very wide perspective, and you know, social selling has actually begun just right here. My daughter starts selling cookies on Instagram, actually, so I totally see where you're coming from. Samantha, what are your thoughts coming from Facebook? Have you seen like more Facebook ads coming from smaller businesses, like micro businesses? Over to you.
Yeah, so we call it conversational commerce in Facebook, which is buying and selling through chat, right? Through Messenger, through WhatsApp, and we're definitely seeing a lot of that, especially in Indonesia with the use of WhatsApp. And of course, everyone is selling everything. Everyone is starting a home business in this time, whether F&B or see at peer to peer. That is definitely gaining more traction. And also in this pandemic era, I think we're also seeing a lot of physical stores moving from brick to mortar to online, right? So what was previously traditional, traditional retail, they're all going online now, even if in a small way, with a Facebook page. I think also, people are getting more and more creative with events, right? So you have to be more creative with events, because you can't have large scale in-person events anymore, at least not right now, right? So there's definitely a very there's definitely a confluence between digital and physical. And we're definitely seeing a lot more of that using digital marketing. How can you drive people to this webinar, for example? And I think this is just one of the many examples of events that are happening in this time. Yeah.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Let's go over to Dwayne. Your thoughts?
Okay. The new trend in digital marketing strategy. The one most notable things that I have seen during the pandemic is change to the Google My Business presence. Google My Business already update their GMB's presence, like more informative, So we can add some information inside our Google My Business listing, like in scope, service scope, maximum. For example, in the coffee shop case, we can add that we only covers delivery within 20 kilometers, for example, and then we can add COVID-19 updates and then like that. So I think companies looks like companies are racing to maintain their Google My Business listings on their social media, not social media, I think, not in the search engine. So people who are in needs can be instantly interact with their business in the Google My Business. Okay, and then online ads is I think the video ads, especially video ads, is growing largely since people are spending their time in the home, spending their time more on the home, so they have more time to see the video to entertain them, to entertain or maybe searching for informations. So I've tested some of my ads in the Weber host in the Weber Indonesia, and the video ads. I mean, video ads is more like gaining more conversion and gaining more impressions.
Okay.
And then maybe companies are racing to provide online support for the services. That's the biggest two after Google My Business.
Okay. Thank you very much for everybody. Nando, I'll get to you on the next topic. I need to kind of move the discussion along. This is very fascinating. Thank you for exploring, because this is a topic I'm sure a lot of people are very fascinated about. Conversational conversations, social selling. These are things that I think are at the kind of like the bleeding edge of where we're taking e-commerce these days. So thanks for making that these trends are happening. Now, I really want to go into this part, and this is interesting. This is where we go to the audience to find a few topics. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen over here, and let's take a look at some things that the audience has put up. So the first and the most highly voted question has been, how are marketing strategies for B2B marketing in branding and conversion? Okay, so that one I'm going to drop on Nando first. It's a very broad question, but are there any interesting sort of marketing strategies that you'd like to talk about in B2B for branding and conversion?
Yeah, I think in general, we need to be able to also understand the consumer, right? So what type of business that we are serving, and by knowing what type of business that we are serving, we then understand their digital behavior. What are the digital journey and digital path that they are undergoing, to be able to make that conversion or purchase decisions, and then we'll be able to influence in that path on that journey using a lot of creative materials, using a lot of strong and powerful call to actions. But since we're talking specifically about B2B marketing, I think one of the most important aspect in digital marketing we need to also think of is how you store database, and how you track purchase behavior of your partner, B2B partner. Because by determining and analyzing their purchase pattern and what are their preference in terms of format, for example, what type of packaging sizes that they usually order to you, and what is the seasonal that they are ordering to you, is it every 2 weeks, is it every month, things like that, then you'll be able to create analytics in terms of predictions or modeling to be able to serve them with more relevant offer in the future. So I think that's something that you need to think of when you go B2B marketing.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like it's same as B2C. We need to really understand what our consumer does and their journey through that process. Let me go next to maybe Samantha. Samantha, you're B2B. So what do you have to say?
I think at the end of the day, marketing fundamentals are all the same, right? A brand is a set of associations that form a mental model, whether a B2B brand or B2C brand. So, these associations get stronger over time, and you need to build consistency in every part of the experience for the customer, right? So at the end of the day, whether you do B2B or B2C, the principles are the same. It's still about, connecting with your customer. It's still about people being the ones making the decisions at the end of the day. It is still a combination of both emotion and logic, at least when it comes to branding. And so, at the end of the day, you still need a great story. Great storytelling is still at the heart of effective communication. And definitely what all the touch points that the customer gets with your brand. All the different touch points the customer gets forms your brand. And so I don't think that changes whether it's B2B or B2C. And yeah.
Okay, very good. Let's go next to Ferdi. Ferdi, anything different to add? I mean, is there really a difference between B2B, B2C, or is it kind of like really the same philosophy?
It's totally different, I think. For B2C, I mean for B2C, if you're looking for, let's say you're looking for a smartphone, and then you find it, and then you just buy it, right? And then that's it. That's it. The conversion just happened. But then for B2B, there's a lot of people that you need to consult with before you make the purchase, right? So meaning that the journey to consideration is quite high. So I think compared to B2C, in which like say it's very straightforward, it's everything is so personalized. You just buy something that is very personalized to your own needs. But for B2B, you're looking for to expand your company, or probably have something to do with a lot of people that is actually working in a company right now. So we have a different market. Like we have an SMEs, we have a micro SME, we have a larger SME, and we have enterprises. And the more, the larger the company, the more decision maker that you have to consult with before you make the transaction. So what's the difference as a B2B marketing right now? Is that the consideration phase? So we have the awareness, consideration, conversion, and the retention and all that stuff. The consideration phase is quite high. So because every step of B2B marketing, especially for larger SMEs, it requires a lot of sales funnel, meaning that you have to involve your sales team, and you have to connect between your marketing leads and all the sales team, and you don't want to miss out on that. And then what we see right now is that there's a lot of things that you can experiment actually with your B2B marketing campaigns. So instead of just you just transfer all the leads to your sales team. What about going something a little bit far? So meaning that you observe what is the average company structure, what's the decision making looks like, and you want to ensure that your ads actually targeting those kind of people, or your campaigns is actually targeting those different layers. So for the manager level, for decision maker, you want to target with material A or campaign A. For B, you want to target with something like SEO or something like that. So because every step of them, so if you manage to convince all of those decision maker layers, then your conversion rate will be actually exponentially higher. So I think my take on this would be, the one liner would be, it's gonna be full of concentration phase. So meaning that your retargeting campaigns and your SEO would play so much larger role compared to the B2C ones.
Interesting. Okay. So the way I understand it then is essentially a B2B is almost like you're marketing to a set of people all unified in one decision, rather than just one person making a decision. And you have to kind of like work at them at different levels with different types of branding, different types of campaigns.
Yeah.
That line up. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. So it's very like a long or arduous. Like we have a lot of research regarding the grace period, and I think it stretched as far as 5 to 6 months for any one transaction for SMEs, right? And then as a B2B marketing, so what you do while they're being processed by the sales team, you want to tell them a very good story, but somewhat not to overboast your brand, right? So those are the those part you can actually do it via your CRM campaigns. So that's the thing about B2B. So you have to involve a lot with sales, and I think because there's a lot of plate to be filled, there's a lot of stakeholder to be managed. It's somewhat harder in some way, that because you only rely on one and that one transaction only.
Got it. Okay. All right. So it's like playing Jenga. Got to get all the pieces right. Otherwise, it sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Let's take a stab at the next question. We sort of covered this already in the first question, but I think maybe if there's any sort of fresh perspectives on this. So this got 2 upvotes. I just got rid of the 3 upvote one because I think we covered it already. But this anonymous question is, I take a role in digital marketing for a new company. How to foster the growth of company followers without a contest like a giveaway. So I can understand this from a perspective of like a new company. It might be very frustrating to find where do you find your new followers and how do you actually get the ball rolling. I'm going to go over to let's see, Ferdi, what do you think? I mean, from your perspective, how do you acquire followers like from the get-go?
I think it depends on the company itself. Is it a B2B or B2C? But because I think in the end of the day, people need a reason to do something, right? I mean, people need a reason to do something, and it was decided by 2 things. Let it be rational or irrational. So I think the foster to grow without giving a giveaway would be, without opting to giveaway or ads, would be to find what is the right way to do a lot of publicity in your marketing campaigns. So I think some of the base case practice in Indonesia, and also something that actually people don't realize, is that back then, I think a few years ago, there was like a property group in, I think, in one area in Indonesia, that they do campaigns in which they hire a lot of like micro influencers, and they try to mock this particular area because it was like so far from Jakarta, and then it was like it was called Bekasi, right? And so it was like so far from Jakarta, and they were like mocking it up via memes and all that stuff, and it generated a lot of publicity. So those kind of things is the thing that you can do, because I think the premise of the location itself and also the way they want to do the publicity, I think it is very good. So I think the key thing, the thing about this, I mean, to grow foster the growth of the company, is that to create something memorable that is will be lasting for a few months. So you know that when you started doing a lot of, let's say, that website campaigns on you see like a major growth, like because you're spending a lot of money or something else. But then afterwards, the trend just dropped because we're trying to hit the trend, but we're not trying to create something that will be memorable for a long time. So that's gonna be something that you want to take a look on. So you want to create something that people will search, will search for a very long time, and not something that you can like search for like few months and then that's it. So yeah, there's a lot of trend like that in Asia. So something that probably persists for a few months, and then that's gonna be it. So we want to look something that is very much long lasting.
Got it. Okay, let me go over to Bonnie. Bonnie, any ideas on this one? How do you get your first followers, whether it's B2B or B2C?
Yeah, I think they can play with how the logic of SEO works, so they can actually increase the numbers of traffic and also followers to their company, the newly company, through SEO. So they need to play, they need to actually research more on what kind of keywords that actually works in the industry. Depends on what kind of company is it. So it's again it's a very it's a very case by case basis. It depends on the industry or the segment where this company operated. And the second one, maybe they can also play with the content on their social media in terms of how they can actually match with the segment of the market of their company. So if it is millennial, maybe they can use something, I don't know, maybe like a colorful catalog product, this kind of thing. So it depends on what kind of the company in these questions that we are talking about. Or if the segment is maybe something that is very formal, maybe they can use something like the formal color, something like looks more bold, that is not really colorful. So it's depend. But I think that's one of the strategy that they can actually use to increase the company followers with a contest or like a giveaway, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Let's jump into, so that concludes the audience segment of our discussion. I'm going to jump into the last topic, which is from the Center for Digital Society, CfDS, Wikipedia. So how do we actually build an excellent digital presence for your brand? So thinking about it from a sort of a cross section, how do you actually activate this? Let me go first to Nando. How would you start this process?
I think I'm gonna start with identifying and giving the reason on why people should see me in digital. So give them the reason why they should stop and look at you in digital ecosystem, and that might be something you have to do with finding out what is the interest of your audience. I'm not going to stop on campaigning how important is customer first for you, because that's basically the foundations of building a great content and foundations of building a great strategy. So find out what is their interest, and then tailor make that interest into whatever service and product that you are going to advertise and you're going to communicate online on digital. And number two is to really look at and prioritize the channel selections for your audience. You might not be present in every digital ecosystem out there. You might want to choose the battle which digital ecosystem that will give you the most meaningful and significant presence. It might be on search, it might be on social media, or it might be on other publisher platform. It depends on your audience and depends on your interest. So that I think in general will sum up the answer of these questions.
I love that answer, and I'm gonna ask Samantha to cross-examine that because Samantha, like you told us earlier, not so much on digital. So, are there any things that you would like, let's say, not put on digital because it doesn't actually do as well as if you try a more offline or a different approach?
Actually, I was going to build on Nando's, Nando's point to say I definitely agree. Especially when you're first starting out, you can't have everything, right? You have to prioritize. And that's the beauty of digital marketing because you get to be cost effective and you get to optimize depending on the channel, and depending on the efficiency of your spend. Because everything is trackable and everything is measurable. And that is exactly why digital marketing is so good for building a digital presence for your brand. But on top of that, I will also add that you digital marketing, you should be able to track who you're targeting and who your customers are. Because you can track both broadly as well as specific, right? And when you do, and when you get to know who they are, who exactly is buying, then you can have a relationship with them. Then you can build CRM, you can build loyalty, you can engage them, you can have and I think all those definitely will contribute to an excellent digital presence. If you're talking about what else might be outside digital, I think it depends on it depends. So I love the coffee shop example before because we talked about like who is in your vicinity, right? Who are your friends and family on social media? Who is geographically near you? Word of mouth, like that all still definitely applies. And I think when you say for your brand here, ultimately it really depends on what the brand is, also B2B or B2C. But I think we've covered all the fundamentals. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's actually something a lot of people, when they first go into like digital marketing, they think that they need to be so much like everywhere. I need to be on Twitter. I need to be on Instagram. I need to be on TikTok. I need to get on TikTok before everybody else gets on it. But it's interesting that the experts always seem to agree that it's the customer understanding how to create that relationship with the customer and then bring it to digital that makes I think the difference. Let me throw this over to Ferdi. Any thoughts on this?
First thing first, I think would be to build an excellent digital presence for my brand would be first to avoid vanity metrics. So something that is not pretty
Right.
much not something that is very much relevant to your brand, but you just keep chasing it anyway. So something like, let's say, the total number of visitors, or all probably overall bounce rate for all of your pages. I don't think it's actually matter a lot in a sense of long run for website especially. And also for social media, it's going to be something like, say, that the number of followers, because when you reach a certain number of followers, the consideration factor become so cost effective that you just, I think, increasing the number is just not that relevant anymore compared to improving your engagement rate. So I think as somebody who has been handling both B2B and B2C, the first thing first would be we have to set a certain metric that we want to target during a very specific timeline. Either it be a short run or a long run. Then second would be we want to create something that is quite memorable, meaning that we want to hit a certain, we don't want to, like, say that go in terms of metric, we go skyrocket and then we just drop down, right? So I think it's something that I probably shared before in some of my previous workshops. So I think engagement wise, you need to, like, say, maintain a certain number of engagement per your post or per your blog articles, right? And you want to make sure that the average is still high. So you want to post probably a little bit lesser or not too often, but also maintaining that system of engagement. So we had this lot of good sample that we actually try to replicate for our brand. And one of it would be, so there's a company that they actually publish, let's say that around 10 articles in their blog per month. And they decided, okay, I think this is quite crazy. They even go as high as, like, say, 20 or to 30. And they decided to go two articles per month. And the traffic is actually skyrocketing, and they were improving the traffic by 60%. And you know the reason why? Because they try to make each of the articles to cater to a lot of segments, and they ensure that the keywords and the SEO optimization is very well tailored. So you know that it's not about having a lot of content spread out on everything else. It's all about ensuring that you have a lot of engagement, and you rely on this particular set of asset that you can actually improve. And probably the third would be only picking a battle that you can win. So if you don't think that you can persist for a long time in TikTok, because you don't have a lot of people who can take your own music video or something, just drop it off. Because we want to ensure that we want to maintain the engagement, because we try to retain a lot of people, and we just convince that percentage of the people to actually convert as somebody who is loyal to your brand.
Definitely. I've seen that. Ferdi, I smiled the whole way through because I've seen each of these things happen in my own company, right? When we first started out, everybody was all like, yeah, let's get more followers, let's get more traffic visits. But after a while, you realize that that doesn't really matter. Maybe your traffic isn't actually going to convert and create any business metrics. And that it's better to actually start with more focus and get into like where the engagement is high, but the people really care. About what you're doing. Okay.
Also, it depends on your company also. But for us, back then when we started our social media improvement campaigns for Mocha, our main OKR on one KPI was to beat the competitors and create this wide gap between the second competitor, so that we were being perceived as the most prominent brand in the market, in the competition. So that's pretty much it. But then we don't maintain that gap that much. We only maintain the engagement to ensure that we hit the target.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Let's go next to Dwi. Anything that you would like to say, Dwi, about the sort of how to maintain this digital presence?
Okay, the first thing that I may consider is to present the friendly and relevant presence in especially on social media or maybe on our website, because the thing that we should remember that people is care about themselves, and they don't care about ours if we just talk about ourselves only. So we can drive a content that influence them to interact, influence them to share and talk about them, talk about the society, or maybe build a content that relevant to the audience, so they can feel that we can, they are pay attention to us, they care about us, so people can follow our social media or follow our website regularly, daily, or today, tomorrow, and every day. And then we can build digital presence on the organic base is the biggest challenge. So maybe we can get a stepping stone with an ad strategy too, so we can take a giant leap in the first step. Because if we are only focused on organic, since our first brand is established, maybe it can consume more time, it can consume a lot of time, because organic is can be tricky, since people can know about our brand if we cannot penetrate it first. And the organic can do that, of course. And then lastly, we need to maintain connection and interaction with our audience that we have built before.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Dwi. Let's go next to Bonnie. Bonnie, the last word is yours.
Yeah. So from me is that I think the main key is to understand who is your user, who is your customer, and where they are interacting. Because when we talk about digital marketing, like other speakers said, we can't win everywhere, right? So like it's a lot of channels, it's a lot of social media. So one thing that we need to understand first is who is our users and where they are locating or interacting. That's the main thing. I remember one of discussion with my previous boss in one of my previous company regarding how to actually we can win in digital presence. So at the time, he made a joke that actually shocks me. Like he challenged me, if you want to get crazily viral or get like huge amounts of interaction, just post a porn in our social media, then you will get it. As simple as that. But it's not something that we really wanted to. So it's not only about interaction, it's not only about likes, it's not only about shares, it's not only about how many followers you have. I mean, that is one of the key metrics that we can actually measure to understand our success in digital marketing. But again, at the end of the day, we need to understand what our customer is looking for actually from us. So actually we need to make sure that we deliver the appropriate content, the beneficial content, that's something that they are looking for. Even we are like a company who sells something, we need to make sure that we are not only selling things in our social media feed, we need also to put a balance of informative contents like news, something that actually can increase the knowledge or giving additional value to our customers, not only to sell something to them. That's, I think, is one of the strategy to win digital presence.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, that was beautiful. I heard so much good stuff in that one. I heard all the things to avoid sort of as mistakes that newcomers do, such as vanity metrics. I heard about like, really cementing the core, really understanding your user. And your user is a person who pays, but don't always just be asking them to pay, give them additional value. And all the different, like, I think the nuanced ways of understanding what is digital presence. Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of the BVE Talk 7. I want to thank everybody for just amazing answers. I mean, like, I'm trying to organize the event, and I'm also trying to absorb as much as I can. I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to the recording afterwards so I can get more of this out of it. But I think this has been an incredible session. I would like at this point to put a survey out, and this is just feedback for all of us here at BVE Talk, for the speakers, for the co-hosts. If you got any, if you want to share your feedback, please take the survey. We're going to be dropping it into the chat right now, and give us feedback. What do we do right? What can we do better? And whose talk did you appreciate the most? And we'll be very happy to share this information with the speakers and with the co-hosts. Thank you very much. Okay, next is we'll talk a little bit about our internships, and I'll go to Rizal, who will present a little bit more on the kind of internships we have. He's in charge of our marketing program here at Bukit Vista.
Okay, thank you, sir. So Bukit Vista is hospitality company, and what we do basically is want to delight our guests. But how we delight our guests? So we as a marketing team, our mission is discover and acquire delightful properties, such as bamboo house, beachfront villa, or romantic house by the jungle, and brought them to anchor inspirational guest experiences. So right now we have 5 campaigns that currently running in marketing team, such as website campaigns, Facebook ads campaign, offline campaign, and also phone and WhatsApp campaign. And all of the campaign is basically want to find a way that can acquire inspirational property. So basically our leads are property owners. And this is your opportunity to learn about our current campaign, or probably you will challenge yourself to create your own campaigns. Like Mr. Nando said before, when you want to be a professional digital marketer, raise your hand and sign up at the first. So it's your opportunity to start your career as a digital marketer. And also what Mr. Ferdi said, you don't have to be creative basically, and you don't have to be perfect, but the basic skill is you're good in analytics, and you're good at explain your strategy and also stand on your argument. So sign up now.
Okay, thank you very much. Rizal, for the internship roles that we offer right now are listed here on this page. We're looking for somebody to help us with digital marketing, marketing and business development, front end, if you happen to be a programmer, a video editor, that's something that is new, UI, UX, business data scientist, internal tools. So these are some opportunities here at Bukit Vista. If you are coming and you like what you've seen this evening and you'd like to be a speaker, please visit us at the Bukit Vista website for BVE Talk and share with students and your knowledge and your unique perspective from your previous experience. So that's pretty much it. And one last thing, I'd like to say, the Bukit Vista e-talk, the BVE Talk continues on November 12th. We will have some data scientists coming from, I believe, Gojek, Tokopedia, and another organization. I can't remember which one it was at the moment. But we'll be talking about how data science can be actually used to make the world a better place. And that kind of plugs into sometimes marketing as well. So hopefully you will decide to rejoin us on November 12th for that talk. And that is pretty much it for the moment. So now I'm going to remain in the room. If any of the speakers would like to remain, then that's fine. If you guys got to go, that's okay too. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here at the October 28th BDE Talk 7. And I hope you guys have been inspired. I hope everyone's been delighted, and have a great evening and be delighted. I want to say a special thank you to all our speakers that have taken time from their busy schedules this evening, to Nanda, Samantha, Dewey, Ferdi, and Bonnie for coming by and sharing their wisdom and knowledge with our audience. I also wanted to share a big appreciation for some of our co-hosts for bringing the audience at NTU, CfDS, and IONS. So thank you all very much for coming in this evening. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you all. Okay.